Decision making is an integral part of modern management. In fact, the job of a manager is to make decisions. Decisions are made at every level of management to ensure organizational objectives are achieved. Decision making is the process by which a course of action is selected from among alternatives. A plan cannot be said to exist unless a decision has been made. The process leading to decision making involves premising, identifying alternatives, evaluating the alternatives, and selecting the best alternative. It is evident that these steps are involved with the planning process, and as such, decision making can be regarded as a part of planning function. Premising is related with the assumptions that are to be made at the planning stage. Then alternatives have to be identified that are needed for the accomplishment of organizational objectives. Then these alternatives have to be evaluated before selecting the best alternative. The methods or techniques for the evaluation of alternatives are marginal analysis and cost effectiveness analysis. Marginal analysis is an examination of the additional benefits of an activity in comparison to the additional costs incurred by the same activity. Companies use marginal analysis as a decision-making tool to help them maximize their potential profits. In cost effectiveness analysis, also known as cost benefit analysis, the ratio of benefit to cost, or B by C, is calculated for all the alternatives. The alternative that provides the highest value for B by C is selected as the best alternative. Or in other words, the alternative that provides the maximum benefits at the minimum cost is selected. Experience, experimentation, and research and analysis are the three approaches for choosing the best alternative. Relying on past experience plays a comparatively big role in decision making. It is important that managers should look back and analyze the things they have successfully accomplished and also the mistakes they have made in the past. Ability to make right decisions will come only with time and experience. Trying one of the alternatives and see how it works is usual way of choosing an alternative. The experimental method is expensive of all the methods and involves a substantial amount of time and money. Research and analysis is one of the best techniques for selecting from among alternatives and involves a search for relationships among the more crucial variables, constraints, and premises that have a bearing on the attainment of organizational objectives. Intuition refers to arriving at decisions without conscious reasoning. The opposite of intuitive decision making is rational decision making, which includes identifying and formulating the problem, generating a set of alternatives, and using analytics, facts, and a step-by-step process to come to a decision. Even though intuition and rationality are two fundamentally different languages of thought, both are needed for effective strategic decision making. The theory of bounded rationality was developed by economist Herbert A. Simon, who was awarded the Nobel Prize in Economics in 1978 for his study of decision making. The theory states that humans are incapable of taking purely rational decisions and are often influenced by various factors. Herbert Simon created the term satisficing that states that instead of aiming for the optimum solution, humans tend to take decisions that set in their mind's mapping and fulfills all restraints. Instead of choosing the optimum solution as per rational methods, humans tend to opt for something that is most satisfying to their aspiration level. It is not possible for a human to consider all the alternatives and analyze them without being biased. Decision making can be under certainty, risk, or uncertainty. When managers know with certainty what their possible alternatives are and what conditions are associated with each alternative, a state of certainty exists. The cause and effect relationships are known and the future is highly predictable under conditions of certainty. Under a state of risk, the decision maker will only have an idea of the probability of outcomes for each alternative. While making decisions under a state of risk, managers must determine the probability associated with each alternative on the basis of the available information and his experience. A state of uncertainty refers to a situation where the decision maker is not aware of all available alternatives, the risks associated with each, and the consequences of each alternative or their probabilities. Program decisions and non-program decisions are the two basic types of decisions that managers make. Decisions related to structured situations where the problem is more or less routine and repetitive in nature are known as program decisions. Purchase of raw material is an example of program decision. Program decisions are usually made by lower level managers. Non-program decisions are concerned with unique or unusual problems. These decisions are unstructured and non-recurring or exceptional in nature. Selection of a new technology in place of an existing one can be regarded as a non-program decision. Non-program decisions are taken care of by the top level managers. Creativity improves the quality of decisions because it increases the scope of alternatives available for decision making. Creative decision making is the ability to consider all perspectives and solve a problem in a new way. Creativity is a way of thinking that generates new ideas. Innovation is the implementation of a new idea. Two important types of innovation are product innovation, that is new things such as goods and services, and process innovation, like new ways of doing things. The stages in the creative process are preparation, incubation and elimination, and evaluation. The creative process begins with preparation and involves gathering information and acquiring knowledge about the project or problem at hand. Generate as many possible solutions as possible without making a judgment. After preparation, take focus off the problem and allow the mind to rest. This is often referred to as sleeping on the problem. Creativity seems to happen at times when thoughts are not directly focused on the problem. During the incubation stage, as subconscious works on the problem, suddenly there can be an insight into the solution, that is illumination. Illumination can also happen while working on the problem. Finally, before implementing a solution, it is needed to make sure that the idea is practical. A good approach is to become the devil's advocate. With the devil's advocate approach, group members focus on defending a solution while others try to come up with reasons the solution will not work. Koons and Weirich also explained the creative process on similar lines. And the process involved unconscious scanning, intuition, insight, and logical formulation. Intuition connects the unconscious with the conscious and may involve a combination of factors that may seem contradictory at first. 5 popular group creativity techniques are brainstorming, synectics, nominal grouping, consensus mapping, and Delphi technique. Brainstorming is the process of suggesting many possible alternatives without evaluation. The goal is to generate as many ideas as possible. Under this technique, all group members get together to find options through discussion and debate. Members are encouraged to make wild, extreme suggestions. This technique does not provide a solution or decision itself. Instead, it produces a list of ideas that will later be considered, discussed, and evaluated when it is time to reach a final decision. Synectics is the process of generating novel alternatives through role-playing and fantasizing. William Gordon, who developed this technique, termed synectics as fitting together different, distinct, novel, and irrelevant ideas. Its purpose is to increase the creative output of individuals and groups. Synectics focuses on generating novel ideas rather than a large quantity of ideas. Nominal grouping is the process of generating and evaluating alternatives using a structured voting method. Consensus mapping is the process of developing group agreement on a solution to a problem. If a consensus cannot be reached, the group does not make a decision. Consensus mapping can be used after brainstorming by categorizing or clustering ideas in the process of trying to agree on a single solution. Delphi technique involves using a series of confidential questionnaires to refine a solution. Responses on the first questionnaire are analyzed and resubmitted to participants on a second questionnaire. This process may continue for more rounds before a consensus emerges.